Hello and welcome to week two. Gosh, it's been great getting to know more of you during week one. I've really enjoyed reading your posts and your discussions. Learned a little bit about who you are, whether you have kids, you're working, you own a business. Love to see that so many of you are attending other classes at Delta College, and that many of you have got goals to either open a business or to move forward within your education. So congratulations. But most of all, I'm so glad to see you all hanging in there, and I'm enjoying just having you in class. So thank you. I want to especially thank those of you who were able to join us for our Zoom session on Wednesday. It was nice to be able to see faces and names and put them together, get to know a little bit about what other classes you're taking at Delta. Remember that all of you have an opportunity to review that Zoom session and to answer the questions that are there for extra credit. 15 points, you never know, that could be really important to you by the end of the semester. And I have extended the deadline, and so the deadline is Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. So I hope you do participate in that. So coming up now, we're starting week two. Hard to believe we're in October. My goodness me. Anyway, we're starting week two, and there's lots of good, interesting information in week two. I am delighted to have had a Zoom interview with Erin Giles, who is a young woman who's opened a new business on the Miracle Mile in Stockton. She even said herself, crazy lady opening a business during COVID-19. Of course, the main reason to talk to her was talking about her marketing. So she's got some really interesting points. We had a good conversation. I gave her some ideas, and this is just good for all of us to pay attention to. Remember, your videos, except for perhaps ones for extra credit where you have a choice whether to participate or not, but your videos are part of this class, and I do encourage you to watch them during the week that they're put out there, and then again perhaps before an exam, because do expect some questions out of the videos on your exams. That includes the video from week one. They all can be closed captioned if you choose, and there's also the whole conversation is right beside the video. So it's going to be pretty easy for you to pay attention to it. I would just play it because it's just a lot more, I think, interesting to hear it rather than, hear it and read it, whatever makes the most sense to you. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about? Yeah, you know what? One of the things I believe I said in the week one video is I don't think the book covers ethics sufficiently. So I have a couple of great articles that you will get links to in your module. You'll see the piece in the assignment that will bring you to the links. One is in the Harvard Business Review, and one is from Entrepreneur Magazine. So I really tried to keep things as current as possible, but with some meat to them. So please do pay good attention to those, and remember, ethics is so critically important. Of your two chapters you have to read in your textbook this week, one of them is at the very end of the textbook, and it's chapter 16. It's on your marketing plan. Well, I always think it's very important that you actually read that earlier in the semester, because your main project that you'll be doing this semester is writing a marketing plan. So we're going to get right to reading about that immediately, so that as you're preparing parts of your marketing plan throughout the semester, you will have that to focus on. When you get to discussion number 2, which is the discussion for this week, you will see that parts of that discussion, especially part 1, is work that you will be completing for your marketing plan. So I think maybe, as I've said before, the whole idea about many of our discussions, not all the discussions, but many of our discussions, is to get you to do the work as we're going through the semester to prepare your marketing plan. So I use that word so a lot. As I look at closed captions, I realize that. So I'm going to work on that this semester. Not guaranteeing that I'll get rid of all of them, but maybe I will get rid of some of them. Looking at your marketing plan and looking at the discussions. So please pay good attention to those discussions. I encourage you to get into them early in the week. Remember, this is your homework, so I'm expecting good work from them. And the reason you're in class is to learn something, and I enjoy reading what you have put together. So in those discussions, you're going to be looking at your competition this week. Competition is really, really important. I mentioned in the discussion about a young man who came into me at the Small Business Development Center years ago. He was opening a coffee shop. I won't say where. We covered 4 counties, so I would never tell about somebody unless I have permission. And the first thing we talked about was competition. And I said, well, there's a Starbucks down the road. I don't think I put this in the discussion. There's a Starbucks down the road. And he said, well, I hate Starbucks coffee. And I said to him, well, I have to agree with you, but I hate all coffee, so that makes no difference to me whatsoever. However, I go into Starbucks every now and again, and I get a hot chocolate, which I do love. And once I figured out that they put vanilla in it, and once I figured out I didn't want the vanilla because it was too sweet, this you don't need to know, but however, it's out there. So I said, I'm used to going into Starbucks and I see people putting down $5 on the table and walking out without much of any change. And so Starbucks is your competition. And then I talked about McDonald's on the other side, and then I thought that's when he was going to walk out of my office. But everybody, your competition is your competition. Even though you may not like what they offer, if people go in and buy a product that is similar to your product, it is your competition. So McDonald's is absolutely every coffee shop's competition. Some people prefer McDonald's coffee. Some people want to go through the drive-thru and have their slippers on, and maybe the kids in the back seat, or maybe they're on their way doing something else. Maybe they want some food at the same time that's hot and they don't want to cook. Whatever the case is. It's less expensive coffee. There are all sorts of reasons why a person might go to McDonald's, to an independent coffee shop, to Starbucks. So that is what I ask you to do when you look at your competition. Everybody has competition. And even if you have a unique product, and by the way, it's been really interesting to look at the various products that you have come up with. I've been responding to you every single day. I know a number of you have come in now this evening. I'm delighted to see you, but I haven't got to see those yet because it's Sunday evening and that's when you've answered. And I'm fine with that. As long as you get it in and you get your work done, and that you also respond to your other two, you do your post and you respond to your two other classmates, we're good. The deadline is the deadline. But anyway, I've really had a good time looking at the great cross-section of products that you're talking about. And remember, you're not talking about an actual branded product. So if I hold up, let's see, I'm going to hold up a lipstick, which I don't wear very often, but I put it on a little bit for the video. But here's a lipstick. So as it turns out, this is, I think, a L'Oreal lipstick. But I'm not going to be marketing a L'Oreal lipstick. I'm going to be marketing a lipstick which has certain qualities that perhaps I really like. But I now need to find 3 competitors for this. And one of them might be L'Oreal, and one of them might be, I don't know what, CoverGirl. So fact is, there will be 3 real products that will be in competition to the product. Again, no brand, no name product, but just the actual product. You can give it a name if you like, of course. I want to understand why they are your competition, what is good about them, and what is negative about them. And trust me, there's always something, almost always something good about your competition. And if it's that bad, maybe you need to find a different competitor to talk about. But we become very subjective about our own product, and sometimes we have to look at it with our customer's eyes, with somebody else's eyes, whether it's a dollar amount, whether it's a color, whether it's availability, whether they just like the packaging better. I mean, there are many, many ideas, but dig down into the actual product itself, looking at the value proposition of the product, and then that's what you're going to be talking about. And indeed, that will be part of your marketing plan. Now, when you do your discussions and you talk about specific issues related to your marketing plan, I do expect to make a number of comments on the discussions. And when you actually write your marketing plan, you do need to take those comments into consideration, because that is where the learning process comes in, right? So I need to make sure that you go back. So you will find that actually I have left all the discussions open until after the night of the final. The last day of the final is due. So if you ever need to go back and review the discussions, you absolutely can. That doesn't mean you get to put in, they're all got a deadline as far as participating in the discussion, but they'll always be open for you to be able to read them. I think that's very, very important. And so I think that's it for now. Just again, get to your work as early as possible. Looking forward to looking, and at the beginning of every discussion, please put the product. So for instance, I would say product, I'd say my product is lipstick, and then go ahead and tell, because we need to be reminded about what you're talking or writing about in your actual discussion. So I want to wish you a safe and a great week. As I'm warned to say, please wear your mask. Oh, and by the way, if you have a chance, whether it's for yourself, your family, for your kids, if you've never, or even if you have ever gone out to Woodbridge Road to look at the sandhill cranes, they're beginning to come in. They winter here. These things are massive, like 6 feet tall. It's hard to see that when they're that far away, but you can go out to a viewing area on Woodbridge Road, and you could Google Sandhill Cranes, Woodbridge Road, and they'll give you the address and directions. And go there before sunset, and a bunch of people go out there with cameras and with binoculars. I encourage you to have either or both if you have access to them. Or just go out and look. If it's a fairly clear evening, you'll have a great view of Mount Diablo, the sunset over Mount Diablo, and you'll see these magnificent birds that only come into a few places in the world every year, and we are very fortunate that one of them is ours. So when you need a break, and you do need some breaks in between work and study, and for some of you taking care of kids, maybe hop out there for an hour or so. So again, I wish you well, be safe, stay well, wear your masks. Thanks. Look forward to your postings of this week. And of course, if you have questions, please do send me an email. Take care. Bye-bye.